Just before we show you the following interview with the founders of the new Blue Party of Ontario, we wanted to alert you to the fact that Jim Karahalios does make several serious allegations against the Ontario PC Party in the interview. The allegations have not been tested in court, where Karahalios is suing the PC Party in a case that's still active. And with that, here now, the interview. Former party stalwarts Jim and Belinda Karahalios have become completely estranged from the Ontario PC Party, and they think they're not alone. Jim ran for the party presidency in 2018 and thinks he was denied a victory because of internal party shenanigans. He sued the party over it. Belinda was elected in 2018 as the PC member for Cambridge, but has parted ways with them since. They've decided to start a new Conservative party called the New Blue Party of Ontario. And from Cambridge, Ontario, there are Jim Karahalios and Belinda Karahalios. She, of course, now the independent MPP for Cambridge, and they are the co-founders of the New Blue Party. It's good to have you two back on TVO. I think we've had each of you on individually, but this is the first time together. So we keep it all in the family tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Belinda, not at all. Let's do a little background here first, Belinda, because there was a rather significant vote this past summer in which the Ford government expected you to vote on final reading with the government, and for reasons which I presume you're going to tell us, you decided you couldn't. And when you couldn't, Mr. Ford kicked you out of the caucus. So let's get that background in place. What's going on with the PC Party that has got you guys now poles apart?
So the PC Party tabled Bill 195 in July of this year, and this bill, in two breaths, ends the state of emergency in the province of Ontario, and at the same time maintains emergency powers for the government, but without any type of debate or discussion within the legislature among elected members. This is complete overreach, and it's completely unacceptable for any government of any political stripe to be tabling a bill of this nature.
Belinda, did you expect to be thrown out of the party for voting against it on third reading?
I didn't expect to be thrown out of the party for that, especially because the PCs had campaigned on not whipping votes. This wasn't a budget bill. This wasn't a confidence motion or even a campaign promise for that matter. At the very least, I think the expectation was to get removed from the parliamentary assistant role because that bill was out of the Ministry of the Solicitor General, which I was the PA for. But being kicked out of the party seemed to be, again, a bit of overreach.
Okay, Jim, let's do a bit of background now on your situation here. You are the guy, we should remind people, who led the Axe the Tax campaign. You were very much against the carbon tax. And after the leadership of the party changed in 2018 from Patrick Brown to Doug Ford, the party embraced your position. You ran for party president, as we suggested. You think they rigged the vote against you, and you tweeted this the other day. What the Ford Nation government gives with one hand, it takes away with another. On Twitter, he defends the poppy. As premier, he strips away the democratic principles, rights, and civil liberties that the poppy represents and that our veterans fought and died over. Okay, Jim, what is your concern with the current state of the PC Party of Ontario?
Well, what we're watching with the PC government, Steve, is a reflection of how they run the party. Remember, it wasn't just about the Axe the Carbon Tax campaign 3+ years ago. It was also ballot stuffing and nominations, the top-down nature of the party. They're really driving their base and their PC voters away. And initially, they sued me in 2017 to silence me under a previous leader. Then Doug Ford won, basically adopting everything we've been advocating for and telling the members, we're going to axe the carbon tax, we're going to clean up the way we run elections in this party. And then I ran in 2018 at a convention where they photocopied ballots to rob over 1,000 members, paying members $300 from a free and fair election. And I spent obviously money running for party president. And the cracks really were there because after that convention, people were starting to see Premier Ford's all rhetoric, the way he governs the party and he governs Ontario is the exact same way the party said they would do it under the prior leader. There's no difference. So there's one thing to say rhetoric on Twitter, Steve, but then when you look at what they're doing, it's a completely different thing.
So let me follow up with this, Jim. Obviously, up until now, you have been content to try to reform the PC Party from within. You've now come to the conclusion, evidently, that that's not possible, and you want to start your own party. Why did you come to that conclusion?
So there are no democratic mechanisms left over in the PC Party. There's no nominations. There's no free and fair elections at a convention. They're going to appoint all their candidates. There's no policy process. But if you're a grassroots member on a riding association, you want to run a candidate or run yourself or run in a convention for an executive position, that's not allowed. So there's no democratic mechanisms in a corrupt party to work it from the inside. It gives us and thousands of others across Ontario no other choice but to start a new blue party.
I guess at this point I should just say, because I think our lawyer here at TVO would want me to, these are Jim Karahalios' views. We are not endorsing them by putting you on the air, because frankly, I don't want your party suing us. But we are giving you a platform now, obviously, to talk about why you've started a new party. And Belinda, let me get you to tell that story there. Give us an understanding of the kinds of things. I mean, it's starting a new party from scratch is a massive undertaking. Since you made the announcement, what have you basically been doing?
So initially it was getting the name of the party. So after I got kicked out of caucus in July, we had an overwhelming number of emails and calls from people all across Ontario saying, please don't give up. Have you thought about starting a new party? Please start a new party. So it was a discussion Jim and I started to have at that point, saying, is this something that we want to undertake? So we looked into, first things first, getting the party name. And interestingly, a little bit of history, there was a blue party back in the 1800s that merged with the Liberal Conservative Party. And this party is not that party, that blue party, it's the new blue party, but that's some historical significance. And, the four establishment parties currently in the Ontario legislature are all on the left side of the spectrum. They all agree on the same things. Their policies are very similar. And there is currently nothing or no party that is for those who are center-right. And the New Blue Party is that alternative for those individuals.
And have you taken the step of getting the Good Housekeeping seal of approval from Elections Ontario?
So we did, we exceeded actually the number of endorsement signatures that are required. So it's 1,000 that are required. We are, I think it was 2,500 that we received, maybe more than that. So those have been submitted to Elections Ontario. They're going to go through those, and we should hear back, I think, by the end of December.
Okay, Jim, are you able to do things like create riding associations or raise money yet?
No, Steve. Under Election Ontario law, you have to be a registered party, but we can talk to people. And we've already had overwhelming support. You've had us both on, Steve, in the different things that we've done within the PC party and federally in the Conservative Party. I can tell you, we've never had such overwhelming support to get 2,500 signatures in 3 weeks. And the calls and the emails, and we've fallen behind, and our team has fallen behind. And we were really shocked because we didn't really get a lot of media coverage. We weren't looking for it with the first announcement. So it's been overwhelming support across Ontario. People want to be riding presidents. People want to be candidates. Former politicians have reached out. So there's a lot of support, and we're diligently trying to get back to everyone and loop everyone in and start planning.
Now, Belinda, I'm not here to be a killjoy, but you know the mountain you are trying to climb here. And there is a big difference between people putting their signature on a piece of paper saying, yeah, you go, and actually wanting to stand for office, wanting to be a riding association president, wanting to contribute money, et cetera, et cetera. How do you know how serious the support is behind you right now?
I mean, there's never ever a way to find out exactly how serious someone is, right? But, from the people I've spoken to directly, who I've communicated with, I know with Jim as well, there's a lot of passion behind this. People are just chomping at the bit to get this party started, to start putting riding associations together. There is definitely an appetite for a real Conservative party in this province.
And you don't have to look far, Steve. Look at Belinda ran in a nomination in Cambridge. She had 2 weeks. She won that nomination, 3 days sell memberships against two candidates who were running for over a year. I ran for president. I was on your show. The entire cabinet was against me. The guys in the back were against me. I beat them. They had to photocopy extra ballots to stop me. I ran in a federal leadership, raised $380,000 in little under 2 months. So that we've proven time and time again the support we have for our ideas. And obviously, the PC party temporarily adopted those ideas when they wanted votes and donations during a leadership. Now our goal is to get as many people in Ontario to hear our ideas, and we're confident we'll get the vote if we can get across and get our message out to as many people as possible. But we obviously have disadvantages because the media is not going to want to cover us as much. We're grateful that you put us on, of course.
Well, all right, you talk about new ideas. Belinda, let's do that. If you don't like the ideas of the PC party as it's currently constituted, and you think you have better ideas, give us one or two where the PC party stands for this, but you think a real conservative would stand for something else.
Well, that one is quite easy. That one is respect for democracy. So when I came on your show last year, we talked about my Bill 150, which is about being against voter fraud within internal party elections. That bill is currently sitting at committee after it passed unanimously in the House in December of 2019. But the government House leader had said that they would put an opt-out into the bill and that the PC party would opt out. They would opt out of democracy about having fraudulent activity within their internal party elections. So that's the first thing, is that respect for democracy. And I think that is something that people of any party color can agree with.
Okay, let's try this one, because of course everybody's going to want to know this eventually. Some of the hottest button issues in politics are always capital punishment and abortion. The PC Party of Ontario currently officially doesn't have a position on either. Will your party?
So we need to build this party from, it's a grassroots effort. So we need to first get the approval from Elections Ontario. We need to build up the writing association. We need to get members and then consult with our members.
We're both, Steve, we're on the record as saying we're both pro-life, but we're going to create a blue party. And conservatism is not defined narrowly by specific catchphrases or, it seems like every time this question pops up and the media wants to label a conservative a specific type of conservative, it's to kind of marginalize them, make them sound like they're outside of the stream. But one label they never use is corrupt. The media will never call a politician corrupt. So you can rig a nomination, rig a convention, and that gets swept under the rug and goes away. But we've been on the record in a lot of issues of what we've stood for in the past, starting with carbon tax and many others. And we're not gonna hide who we are, and we're gonna bring a big blue party, Steve, with a lot of different conservative voices, because there is no conservative party right now.
Well, let me try this with you, Belinda, on that front. You say there's no real conservative party right now. I would point out the Libertarian Party, which is a form of conservatism. They ran candidates in 117 ridings in the last election. They got 43,000 votes. The Trillium Party, which also thinks of itself as being on the right of the political spectrum, they ran candidates in 26 ridings. They got 8,000 votes. Why didn't you guys just decide to join one of those two parties as opposed to create your own? Belinda, go ahead.
Well, so it's harder to merge parties, right? It's harder to join parties when you start to look at the constitutions and really do a deep dive into what these parties stand for. There was always something that was missing, components that were missing for us, and that's something we looked at together as well. And so it was very clear to us that starting something new was the way to go. But the door is open for mergers, of course. We've mentioned that before on the record.
Okay, Jim, let's finish up on this. And again, I'm not trying to be a killjoy. I'm putting forward empirically provable facts here. Since the end of World War II, so we're talking 75 years ago, we have had Tories, Liberals, CCF New Democrats, basically same thing, and one Green. This is not exactly the most dynamic province when it comes to embracing new political parties. So what makes you think you can do it?
Well, Steve, it's a long-term project. It's not an 18-month project where we just give it a go for the next election and pack it in. But just look at our record, Steve. I don't know if anyone in Ontario has ever tried a husband and wife team who were able to get an Ontario PC party change their mind over carbon tax, get an Ontario PC party to change their mind about ballot box stuffing, to push forward ideas that the PC party begrudgingly at certain times would adopt, who's run as an MPP in 2 weeks and won a nomination. I ran for president and I ran for federal leader. So there's been no other time like today, Steve, in history that I can see where the supposed blue party has moved so far to the left in such an authoritarian fashion to close down businesses, to top down tell people how they should live their lives and micromanage, and there's no voice out there. So it's true, Steve, you're a historian, you know the history, but this is unprecedented times and we're trying something different.
I hear you, and we're grateful to the two of you for coming on to TVO tonight and explaining it to us. Take care.
Thanks for having
Steve.
us.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.